Hi, and welcome back to Rick's Room. Now, this is the podcast where I try to recreate a little bit of what it's like to be at a busy conference, running around all day, meeting with people, and finally, at the end of the day, you get to sit down in a comfortable chair in the hotel lobby or lounge and see someone come across the room that you've been wanting to talk to all day long. That's what we do here in this show. And today, the person coming across the room is Tricia Roberts. Tricia, thanks for being with us. She's the executive director of the Sheboygan Theater Company here in Sheboygan County. It's one of the most experienced and longest running theater. Well, I'm going to let her tell you about it. First of all, thank you for being here, Tricia.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Rick. It's a pleasure.
All right. So when you describe STC to someone,
Sure.
how do you do it?
Wow. STC is one of the longest running, as you're saying, community theaters. Community theater is basically run by the community. So we're not paying our actors. A few designers and directors get paid, but otherwise it is completely voluntary theater. So you'll get someone whose first production it is to someone who's maybe majored in theater in college or does it professionally as a career, coming back and directing or designing for us. So it's all experience levels. It's really a theater that's putting on productions by the community for the community. And we've been around since 1934. So it's exciting to be in the seat.
Fantastic. Right. Now, you've been doing this for a few years now as the executive director,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
This
we're
is my fourth season. Yep.
Yeah, and we're not talking about little plays here, right? We're talking about major productions that people may have seen. What's coming up in your 92nd season?
Yeah, so we've got a really fun lineup for next year. We start off with the Mel Brooks body comedy, Young Frankenstein. Some people are getting it confused with the animated feature. Not the same, not for kids. So adults only to Young Frankenstein this fall. Then we're moving into the classic Steel Magnolias to really feature some of our female actresses. We're going into the British Canto piece, The Play That Goes Wrong, where literally everything's going wrong when this group of actors and stagehands are trying to put together a murder mystery. And then finally, we're ending with the hit Mamma Mia, which we've been trying to do for years. So we're very excited about that.
Those are some big plays people
Yeah.
have seen. That's exciting. Now, you mentioned that you've got a lot of volunteers. There's many volunteers that help, but you still have a lot of expenses. So
Yes.
how do you deal with that? Yeah.
Oh boy. So it's interesting. When I started, we were just coming out of COVID. So all of our numbers looked really rough. And when I started in the position, the director of rec at the time told me I had 5 years to turn the ship around and to find some financial success. Otherwise, it might be the end of STC. So that was a lot of pressure. Good motivation for me at the start. And I'm happy to say we're looking a lot better. But I don't think people realize how expensive it is to put on a production. So we're looking at, when we do a big musical, like Mamma Mia, for example, will probably cost us between $25,000 and $28,000 to produce. Yeah. So you do that times 4 in a season. That's a hefty price tag.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Plus, then
Yeah.
there's all the expenses like, I'm employed by the theater company, which is awesome, but I'm the only employee. But that comes with a salary and benefits. And then marketing and office needs and things like that. It all adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah. Now, you've got a loyal base of patrons that buy season tickets every year, but that doesn't come close to covering what you have to cover.
No.
Where do you go for the rest of it?
Yeah, so our funding comes from our season ticket holders, our single ticket holders, which I was doing the numbers today, Rick, and we increased our audience base by 25% from
Nice.
last season to this, or 2 seasons ago to this current season. So that's really exciting. And almost 94% since my first season as
Fantastic.
executive director. So yeah, again, we're coming back out of COVID. That's
Yeah, but a lot of
so,
theaters around the country didn't come out of COVID. It just killed a
and
lot
so
of companies.
I think that really points to what you were saying about like how do we bring in our revenue. We also have some really great sponsorships and partnerships that we've had for a long time. So those would be sponsors from some of our major corporations. There are some small businesses who sponsor us too, which is wonderful. And then we'll do a lot of grant writing and seeking funding that way as well for some specialized programming.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that takes up a lot of your time right there, just trying to keep the
Yep.
numbers coming in, right? Well,
Yeah.
one of the things that I've noticed, and full disclosure here, I've been a volunteer for a couple of years now. I don't do much. I open the doors for people.
You
That's
no,
really
but you
good.
do a lot. You do a
Uh,
lot, Rick.
so I see the value. I have seen real benefits for my company coming out of being involved in a theater company, which I'll be honest, it surprised me because I came from the indie film world. It's a whole different thing. When
Yeah.
you talk to companies, and we have companies in this county, Sheboygan County, that have literally hundreds of people working there. They're big enterprises. How do you talk to them about the benefits of getting involved with a local theater company?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of times people think theater is just putting on a costume, playing pretend, painting a few pieces of cardboard and sticking it on a wall, you know. But there's a lot more that goes into it, you know. When you're part of a production, everybody is working towards the same goal. And so you have to learn how to problem solve, not only working with a group of different people who you've never worked with before and will probably never work with again, that same group of people. It's this really kind of magic bubble when you work on a production. So you're managing how you're working with those people. So you're learning real time interpersonal skills. Then, if you're acting on stage, you're learning diction and pronunciation and how to hold yourself and how to speak in front of a large group of people. Because again, we could have 450 people in the audience on a given night. That's a lot of people when you go out on the stage to have to memorize and talk in front of. My husband's in sales, you know, and he majored in music and performance, and it was a natural fit because those skills that he was able to learn from theater and from music directly apply to being a professional salesperson. And then there's like real time problem solving and creative problem solving that you have to do. Let's say someone's microphone goes out during their big solo out on stage. I'm getting a little red because it happens more often than I'd like to admit. And it's like, how are we communicating and how is the cast like seamlessly getting a handheld microphone out to that actress so she can sing, you know, the rest of her solo and the audience hears her. So there's a lot that goes into putting on a production that I think if you haven't been a part of it, you may not realize.
Absolutely. And if you are anywhere near Sheboygan, you guys do tours, backstage tours.
Yeah.
Where you operate out of, that's a professional theater. That
Yeah.
is an incredible facility.
Thank you.
We're very lucky we have it in our
Yeah.
community. And if
And
you're in the local area, you should come and see it. Right.
yeah, I think the history, just a little piece of history, when the Community Players, which is now STC, but their original name was the Community Players, found out that there was another middle school being built in Sheboygan in the late 60s, early 70s. They raised $65,000 at that time, which equates to about $500,000 in today's economy, to build the theater at Horace Mann to be their new home. So STC helped build that theater and make it what it was. So it's a pretty cool. That's a true community effort right there.
It sure
And
is.
we're
Sure is.
still
And it's,
utilizing it.
well, sure, the school uses it,
Mhm,
STC uses it, and the
mhm.
patrons love it because I open the
Yes.
door for a lot of those guys, and I know they're
Mhm.
excited about every show. Now, when does the new season start?
It starts, so our fiscal year starts in July. So we're wrapping up this last season. And then our first show opens late September. September 27th, I believe, is opening night of Young Frankenstein. But we've got some other fun things happening too. We have a 4th of July show coming up. So if you're downtown, go check that out. We've got a group of 16 performers performing songs they wouldn't normally get to perform. So it's really fun, lighthearted, about hour-long musical performance. So that's really fun. And we've got some workshops coming up too. So if you want to learn some of those skills without having to commit to a full production, I hope that you come join us for those as well.
And you really should consider it because
Yeah.
Tricia's exactly right. Those skills that you learn working with actors and trying to have a presence on stage are going to help you in the boardroom. They're going to help you in the sales presentations, and everyone else.
Mhm.
Tricia, I have loved visiting with you today. Tricia
Yeah.
Roberts, she's the executive director for the Sheboygan Theater Company. We'll have you on again as the season gets started because we're going to
Woo.
want to hear how it's going, right? But thank you, Tricia, so much for
Thank
being with me
you.
today.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, Rick, and I love what you're doing. So keep it up.
Take care.